Hey, welcome to the Director's Garage Live. I am your host and resident idiot, Michael, and here we are. Back for more. Been a week. It's been a little over a week since I've talked to you guys last. Got a new episode shot, and it's starting to edit together, which is a good thing, right? And I'm still in the cast with the broken wrist. It's been quite a time. Interesting week too, because when I left you, I was a week ago from last Monday. I was headed to Arizona, to Phoenix for the Super Bowl. I did get there, and I shot for the week, cast and all, and staples in my leg. Staples came out. Talk about that in a second. That was not fun. But we were there to do Super Bowl-like stuff, and I'll show you a couple of things because it's kind of cool. One of the things we did, because the story of the week was clearly a certain singer named Rihanna. So we positioned ourselves to get an interview with Rihanna, and that has been airing. God, they aired the heck out of this. It's been all over everywhere. We got an exclusive with her. The woman in the middle is not particularly pleased with us at the moment. That's a different story altogether. But we did get Rihanna, and that was great. That was a big get for us. And then I also interviewed the Breaking Bad guys, because they had a Super Bowl commercial. Oh, that's not me. That should be this one. There you go. Aaron Paul and Bryan Cranston, and they did this nice little thing. They were pushing pop corners, I guess it was. It's like a snack food. It's a snack food, folks. Anyway, they recreated their Breaking Bad stuff. There a couple of scenes, including Tuco was there and all that stuff. But we sat down and talked to them. That was pretty cool. And then let's see, what else did I get? Oh, we also went to a rave kind of like dance thing. I don't understand this stuff. It's not for me, but it was pretty cool. It was visual. And that's like off to the right is the DJ, and then there's this massive crowd. This was at Shaquille O'Neal's party, which he did. I think he raises some money for charity, and also just has a good time. So it was called Shaq's Funhouse, and so we were backstage. We caught some of that action. And that's kind of that was my week there. I left actually before the Super Bowl itself. Let's see if I can do this without... No, I didn't. I just cut to myself. Oh, well. I was trying to be all fancy, but it didn't quite happen. I left before the Super Bowl itself. I was out on Saturday because Monday was the Oscars luncheon, and that's a big deal they do in Beverly Hills every year, where all of the nominees come together for a lunch, and they take a big class photo of all the nominees. I couldn't name 3 of them this year. I know Top Gun is nominated for Best Picture, but I think this is the worst crop of Oscars films ever. But needless to say, they needed me to stage that because that's a big deal. It's a big load-in. There's tons of lights and cameras, and we're around a pool all day. I didn't pull a photo from that. I don't know why. I have them. But we did that. That was my Monday. And then today, this morning, I interviewed Smokey Robinson for, he's got an album coming soon. And let's see if I can do that. Let's see. Oh, Lord, please don't let me screw this up. Here we go. Welcome to the Primetime Director's Garage. So we did Smokey Robinson today, and got to hang with him, and he told us some great stories about Stevie Wonder and writing Tears of a Clown with Stevie Wonder and how that went, and just awesomeness. Anytime you get to hang with somebody like that, it's going to be a good time. And Smokey is just a wonderful person, and loads of stories, and told us all kinds. Just that interview's coming up later this week. I think it might air Friday. Friday's his birthday. The guy's going to be 83. And he's still out going on tour, and he's got a new album coming out in 2 months, about a month and a half, and it's called Gasms. Gasm, it's Smokey going blue. That's pretty cool though. That was a lot of fun. So I can't wait to hear it, and some of the titles are also a little on the risque side. So kind of fun. 83-year-old Smokey Robinson still doing it, still having a good time, and I'm still in a cast. So that kind of catches you up to date. Now the other thing that's pretty cool is I've made some decisions on where I'm going with equipment here, and you may have noticed, if you didn't, these two guys up here, which is the Chord Hugo TT2 and the Chord M Scaler, are for sale. That's right. They're in the description below this video, and I'm trying to get a reasonable rate for it because I'm going to throw some money towards that and get something else. And I've already decided what I'm going to get, but I'm not going to reveal it yet. I've made some decisions. So very excited about it, and it's just I got to pull it together to kind of make all the synergy happen and make sure I'm not like losing my shirt on half this shit. So that's kind of like, that's at least for this week I've made that decision, but you know, then it's got to execute and happen, and then I've got to find what I want to buy, and I've got to find it. Cheers everybody, happy Wednesday. Yeah, I'm gonna go in a different direction. And it's not anything against Chord. I just want to open up the sound a little bit. I want to try some different things. I have been married to Chord for probably almost 10 years, doing all Chord DACs. Because I believe in what they do, and I do think that they produce some of the most detailed DACs out there. But I want a different flavor. And one of the things I'm going to try, and I've got a cable on the way to do it, is I also want to give this Macintosh amp here, which is the 2600. I want to give it some love, and I want to try the DAC out in that, because it does have a very good DAC in it. And I've never used it. I've never even tried it, because that unit is there for one purpose and one purpose only, and that's to be a phono preamp. It's got an amazing phono stage on it. So I've been using that just as the phono stage, and I've played with it for in some headphone stuff. I tried it with some headphones. It's not the greatest headphone amp. It's okay. I had somebody left a comment today on one of my videos, and this was kind of funny. It was on the box opening of the Noble Viking Ragnar video, and they wrote a comment saying, well, I was with you until you chose the WA11 for your DAC. Like, oh, okay, guess that's not good enough for them. It was very funny. I was like, some of the stuff is like, so like, people turn the snark on sometimes in the comments, and they write what they write. I don't really care one way or the other. I'm like, write what you want to write, or I tell everybody I'm an idiot at the beginning of the episode. So if you don't believe me and you want to keep, by all means, no. It's just kind of funny that hey, that's a pretty good portable amp DAC, right? The WA11 Topaz is, that's pretty solid. It's a pretty solid chunk of metal. It's a well-engineered piece. It's from Woo. It's a company you kind of trust to do these things. Pardon me, I'm going to cough. Sorry, Holly. Holly's on the desk right below me. I tilt the camera down, but it's all locked up for right now. But he didn't like my cough. But I gotta pull my arm in when I cough because I've still got bruised ribs. And if I don't pull my arm in to kind of hold the ribs in place, they expand out when I cough. And It's like somebody taking a sword and sticking it through your rib cage. It really hurts. It's amazing. But, so that's kind of like, it's a big decision to do a big move in the DAC world. I mean, that's my main listening DAC, and I'm going for it. I'm going to change it. I just want to get some different flavor. I want to try it. Yeah, hi, Holly. You meowing for everybody? Meantime, Mrs. Director is gone for the week, guys. We're batching it. How about that? Yeah, so she's not going to be making a guest appearance because she's not in town. So I'm batching it for like 4 days. And, living the life here. No. What I'm going to do, though, while I'm to take advantage of this time, is I'm actually going to work out the Krell in the living room, because I never get access to the living room by myself, and the Krell is up there with the Vandersteens, and we're gonna be playing some music, I think, in the next couple days for fun. We're gonna get up there, and not sure what I'm gonna use for a source yet, because I don't have a good source up there, but we'll figure it out. But I'm gonna get all that sorted, because I've been dying to do it, but it's hard. My wife owns that living room. She always is in there, so I get a chance for with Mrs. Director on the road. We're gonna get that. I'm gonna get to the chat in just a second. Anything else? Oh, and I shot the next video, which is going to be the Viking Ragnar full review, full sound check review. That's coming in the next couple days, whenever I get around to finishing it. Cheers, everyone. Happy Hump Day. We're halfway home. Other things I saw. What did I see? Sennheiser released their HD-8 600 or 650 S2. They're the next generation of the HD-600. Man, okay. I wonder what that's... I mean, it's hard to improve on a Legend, and so I'm very curious to hear what they've done with that. Noble's... I teased this one. The Ronin was released today. That's now for sale. You can actually go buy a Ronin. That's their 12 balanced armature. No, it's 8 balanced armatures and 4 E-stat per side. Okay, Holly, watch the tail. Whoop. It's windy. Holly hates it when it's windy. Like, he will sit in a rainstorm, but you enter wind into the occasion, and he's like, I'm out of here. He hates it. But yeah, I did see that the Ronin is now for sale. Hang on, he wants to go outside. Go on, fly, be free. Is that open? Because nothing gets internet views like my face being off camera. Yeah, so that I thought that was pretty cool. And let's see, let's start with the chat. Oh yes, says Hi-Fi Boog. Cheers, Hi-Fi Boog. Welcome to the show. Welcome. Hey, Spades, it's time to stop making music to talk music. That's what Hi-Fi Boog is doing. He's making music up there. My job has bonuses. Yeah, it does. That's my second photo with Smokey. I think my first photo is like from 15 years ago. He was recording something in the studio, and we went down there to meet him. We did an interview in the studio, and I got a photo with him back then. I don't have that photo. I had hair. All this kind of silver crap that's left. It was all dark, and I had a full head of hair back then. So it's kind of fun to update that. He's going to be 83 and still singing. And you saw him at the Grammys. I don't know if you guys saw the Grammy performance. He was Stevie. Oh man, that was the best thing that I saw in the Grammys. I mean, I know that everybody's talking about the other stuff, but I'm like, that to me was the hip hop and all that, which was cool. But I'm like, you can't put legends up there like those guys and not have a good time with it. Selling the Chord gear, yeah, that's. I just decided that it's time that it's going to happen. So I think I've got it priced about right. Like it would be like $32.50 per. These things go for about six-ish new. So I'm like, I don't know, it's about half off. It seems, and I got the original boxes and the remote control, the Chord remote. I've got all that stuff with them, so I'm hoping that somebody will want to pick them up because it's a hell of a stack. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, I just want to try something different. And I've got an idea of what I want to do, so I want to try it. So that's with that. Yes. Ken Workshop. Cheers. Good to see you back at the normal time. Yeah, we're back on a Wednesday, normal Humpday happy hour hangout. I got the Smokey interview was this morning, and then I wrote a little bit up leading into this, and I'm taking some time to spend some quality time with my buddies. Hi-Fi Boog picked up a Chord Mojo 1 for $200. That's a good deal. There's nothing wrong with that first Mojo at all. Manly makes a great photo pre. Yep. They sure do. There's some great phono pre's out there. I wanted to dip my toe in the Macintosh pool. And one of the DACs I was looking for, because I saw one come up on Audiogon, that's like the high-end, not for us headphone guys. So their headphone stuff is slim, unless you're like into stacks. They sell a lot of stacks on there. But Audiogon is like the home hi-fi setup, the big tower speakers and all that. You can buy stuff there, and I saw a Macintosh DAC come up, and I'm like, ooh. I'm like, maybe I should get a Macintosh DAC that sort of matches that. That would be kind of cool. That'd be a cool way to go. And they had one for a really good price, reasonable price and everything. And then I did some research on it because, I'm not just going to buy this thing. And I'm like, it was first released in 2008. Like, now look, if it was like a phono pre or whatever, tape something or other, whatever you want to use, fine, who cares? But a DAC is something that evolves very fast, and a 5 or 6 year old DAC is like, that's long in the tooth for a DAC, right? And that's part of the reason I'm not even considering like jumping. I'll tell you right now, I'm not going to the Dave. Because the Dave is very old by today's standards. And that's not to say it sounds bad. I'm sure it's wonderful. But a new Dave has got to be just around the corner. They're so overdue to update that DAC. And so buying in at the moment, it's going to be obsolete. And you'll be like, I'll be crying in my Cheerios. So, but I was looking at it, I'm like, oh, 2008. I'm like, maybe that Macintosh DAC isn't the way to go. So that was a short-lived fantasy. But it's funny, you like, how you're like looking at stuff and you're like, oh, that's cool. Oh, that's for sale. Oh, that's kind of cool. And then you like look in and you go, oh, yeah, well, But what do you think? Do you think that 6,500 is fair for that stack? I think it is. I originally had it at 7, and I'm like, and then I like started looking around. I'm like, no, they're selling for like just over 3 the individuals. So I thought combined, and I'm going to throw in the cables and that. I thought, I think it seems pretty reasonable. I don't know. I try to get fair pricing. I got to get as much as I can for this stuff, just because, hello, we're losing money on the show as it is. But I want to get something for it, but I don't want to, hurt people too. So, I'm trying to just feel it out. I have no idea what this thing will ultimately sell for, but I'm trying. I think I'm at a good price point, but I'm not sure. Tell me in the comments what you guys think. Got to use that living room. Yeah, I know. And I don't get up there enough. And that's a hell of a stack. It's like that, just such a great set of speakers up there. I'm like, I just never get a chance to use them. I've threatened Mrs. Director. I said, if we get around to redoing this room, I do have space over there. I could put the towers in this room, and then I could have this room as kind of a listening room. But with all the crap it takes to do a YouTube channel, I'm like, would be less than ideal. It really wouldn't sound very good. Bookshelves would be more like better. Hi, English well much? English goodly much? Bookshelves would be probably more appropriate for this room. Like a good set of like LS50s or something. That would be cool. That would be cool. But that would be for, but I already have the Genelecs, and I'm like, the Genelecs sound so good. They're good. They're a good pair of work speakers, but they're not like audiophile. They're like pro audio. They're like the pinnacle of pro audio. So, and the Genelecs aren't going anywhere. They're too good. And God, just look at them used. Look at the used Genelecs. It's like they don't come down. Those things just like because they're workhorses. Amazing stuff. Okay, so what are you saying? What the? I almost read that. Hi-Fi Boog. You almost got me to swear on YouTube. Like I don't swear. Building a phono setup is actually his next big thing. Yeah, and I've got too many records here to take advantage of. So that's why the phono is always out. It's sometimes buried under a pile of headphones like it is right now and IEMs, but it's like it sits on the desktop so I can actually use it when I want to. I just have to put some stuff away and I can go. Because I love records, and I've got probably 3,000 of them here, I'm guessing, on the shelves. Like they're all... It's shelf after shelf here of vinyl, vintage vinyl, good vinyl that I picked up over the years, and some new stuff. I have records here that I haven't even opened yet, that I've been like, I'm just waiting for the right time and have a good listening session at home, that I can enjoy them. I just haven't had time. The Manly is like 3,000. Yeah, just for the phono pre. Yeah. And this, I got a deal on. It was a new in-box. They just come out with the 2700, which is the current model in the C line, and this was new in the box, and I got it for $35. Go and look up what a C2600 is selling for. It's like $5,000, man. Used $5,000. So I'm like, I got a hell of a deal on that. So I'm hoping to do something similar in the DAC space when I'm ready to purchase, but I got to sell this stuff first. I'm just not, like I said, I'm still working out the pricing. I don't know what it's going to sell for. I mean, whatever it sells for is what it's worth, because obviously it's capitalism, Supply, demand, all that kind of stuff, as my professor once taught me. Chinook 2K and Steelhead for 4K are good target prices. Might get an older Chinook for 1.5K. Okay. Oh, there's a dump truck or something on the block. You can hear those air brakes. Ken Workshop says DACs are like DSLRs, expensive and short half-life. Yes, although I think we've sort of peaked on the DS. Unless you're into the features of the DSLR, I've got like a 5-year-old DSLR here that takes gorgeous pictures. I don't use it enough. I use it most of the time. I'm winding up using it for video, but because it looks so good. I have a Nikon D850, which is now like 2 generations old. And it's a DSLR when the rest of the world went mirrorless. But I know the camera, and I can make it work for me. And that's half the battle with any piece of gear. It's like, if you're comfortable with it and you can make it work for you, I can take awesome pictures with it. I've taken stuff that I've sold for thousands of dollars with that camera. It's fantastic. So that's just like, that's a camera that I don't know that I'll be getting rid of, because they don't, I suppose I could go up to they have a couple of new ones, but they're very expensive. The D850 was a sweet spot for me, and it does everything I want it to do. So I have no incentive to change, and I've got all Nikon glass, so I'm like, it ain't going Canon anytime soon, or Sony. That's not gonna happen. Ace Spade says Berkeley Alpha Reference 2. Better than Dave. Or MC Dex. Macintosh, I'm guessing he's saying. Yeah, there's some really good stuff out there. There's really good stuff out there. And I just want to try some of it. I just want to get, I think I'm good on amps. I'm happy with this amp. So like now I'm like, I just want to tweak the DAC a little bit and see if I can find a little more thin air with a slightly better Dak, close that door because it's getting cold in here and Holly's didn't come back in. So let him freeze outside, the little boy. Said Ebenezer Scrooge. Some of these super DACs are almost ancient now. I know, isn't that crazy? Like, God, look at, I saw a Chord Dave the other day for like $6,000. It's a $13,000 amp you can now get for $6,000. Unbelievable. And they're still selling it. It's still current. It's new. Unbelievable. The TT2's M scaler just sold for $63.50 on US Audio. Well, that's good to know. Well, maybe I just drop it a couple $100 more. I don't know. I'm just like, I want to sell it, but I don't want to give anybody a bad deal, but I got to get something out of it because it's, kind of important for the sake of the show. So, it's curious. Like every time I read this, I'm like doing computations in my head. I'm like, what speakers am I running upstairs? I have the Vandersteen 3 signatures, which is new. God, the Vandy 3 signature goes for what now? Oh, Holly touched my keyboard. Let's go live to the internet. And let's see, product 1, 2, 3. 3A signature goes for $63.51 a pair. So these are righteous speakers. They're not the best that Vandersteen 7s I've heard, and it was like the guy was playing in the room. It was a Stevie Ray Vaughan track that I heard at a show. Richard Vandersteen was in the room. He was demoing it for us, and they were playing a vinyl of Stevie Ray Vaughan, the album, the posthumous album, the one that's all white on the cover. I'm drawing a blank. The Sky is Crying, and it was like goosebumps. I mean, he was in the room playing. You close your eyes, it was like he's right there. It was amazing. Those are like the ultimate speaker. But what are the Vandersteen 7s going for now? Ha! Floor standing loudspeakers. Here we go. The 7 Extreme goes for $84,000 a pair. Woo! Forget that Ferrari, boys. We're going for Vandersteen 7s. Oh my God. But I think at that price they come in and they come into your house and set it up for you, But that's crazy. That's crazy. That's like amazing money. Vandersteen has some great gear. I mean, they're like all about value for dollar, and I know $84,000. Like, how is that a value? But they really do put their money into the drivers, and the housings on the outside are MDF and epoxied, enameled, or what do they call it when they just put a thin layer of veneered? They're veneered MDF. They don't spend money on the construction of the cabinet. They put the money into the drivers. I appreciate that. It's a good workmanlike aesthetic or mentality approach. So yeah, I'm running Vandersteen 3A signatures in my living room. Those were, I purchased those in the 90s. They were Vandersteen 3As at the time. And then they ran a deal when they came out with the signatures where you could box them up, send them to the factory, and they'd replace the drivers and send them back to you as 3A signatures. And I took advantage of that. They need to go back to Vandersteen again at some point, but the cats have just shredded the grills, and I'm not confident enough to do the grill, do a nylon grilling on those myself. But they've just annihilated. They use them as scratching posts. I'm like, it's a very expensive scratching post, kids. Don't try this at home. So good. So good to be on the air. How you guys doing? What's going on in your world? Let's see. Hi-Fi Boog says he has at least 100 records, but hasn't had a proper player in 10 years. Yeah, and I went a number of years without a proper player. It wasn't until about 2010 or so, when I started getting into the head-fi hobby, the headphone hobby, that I really started like that I had that itch to really get the records going and get a proper record player. I never owned a proper record player before this VPI Scout, and I got it for a deal. It was like $1,200, which for a Scout is a pretty good price, and it's a pain in the butt to set up, though. Oh my God, the setup on that turntable is like not for the faint of heart, because you'll sit there and tweak and tweak and tweak and tweak, and you tweak one thing and something else goes out, and you tweak another thing, because it's a unipivot. So the whole arm rests on a carbon point so it's just wobbling on that. So you're adjusting weights to get the azimuth, and you're lifting and lowering the point, and then you're changing the weight on the arm to get it so that it tracks flat and straight. It's like a killer. It's mind-bending to set up. It's really painful, and once you get it set up, you're like, I'm never moving the damn turntable again. It's ugly. It's ugly. Yeah, but he still buys them. Yeah, I still buy records too. Not as much as I used to, but I still, when something special comes out and I'm like, yeah. But I'm more, I've been more like watching the tapes, and I'm waiting. Well, now I'm like putting a pause on everything so I can pull this DAC switch up off once I sell the TT, the Chord stack. But that's part of the thing I keep an eye on, because I love I love me some tape. So I've been buying those tapes every now and then, and I've got like 5, I've got 6 pre-recorded masters that are absolutely no question off the master, and then I've got a bunch that I bought that are likely digital copies that somebody just played out on a tape because they just didn't cost enough, but they claim they were off the master. I'm like, yeah, okay, it was eBay, but you try it and it wasn't bad. And actually, it ran like a couple $100, and I'm like, well, it's kind of almost the cost of the tape, to be honest with you. You buy a brand new spool of tape, and some of these are doubles, and it's like you're getting 2 full-filled, and they're recorded well. They actually did a good job in the recording. Nothing's overmodulated. They're set up properly. There's tone on the tape, and so I bought from the same guys a couple of different things just to have them. Like I bought like a Pet Sounds. I'm sure, it's the Pet Sounds off the master. Okay, if you say so. But I don't buy it for a second. I'm sure it's like just a digital something. Sounds good, but it's not, I'm sure it's not an actual master. Bradley says, nice. He's never heard of Vandersteen's, but Ohm Walsh 4s he had Ohm Walsh 4s for a while, and he loved them to death. Have heard the sound is similar. Vandersteen's are very warm. They're kind of a warmish speaker. So they do well with solid state. They don't do well with tubes because it becomes too mushy. So you can put a really good vintage solid state amp on it, like the Krell. I have a Krell KSA 100 that drives them to the nines. Just beautiful amp, and I've told that story a few times about getting that thing recapped. But the quality and the speed and it's a great speaker. Really like it. 84 grand is a lot of concerts. 84 grand. For 84 grand, it's like you can hire, I don't know, Van Morrison to come play in your home. They'll do it for 30 grand. They'll get you a concert from one of these groups. That's pretty much the going rate for, if it's not a super group. You're not going to get Beyonce for $30,000, but you can have a couple of pretty good bands that are, world famous and recorded, and they'll probably come out and play for you for that money. Arthur's never been a big Vandersteen's fan. Well, everybody has their likes and dislikes. I was into them from because the guy who was my audio guy back in my editing days was a huge Vandersteen fan and introduced me to the brand and took me around, and I got to hear a lot of them, and I kind of just became kind of a little fanboy of them. And then I was at an audio show. I've been to several audio shows, but I was at the one where they had the Sevens up and Richard in the room, and it was just like, it was just kind of a cool moment when you're hearing Stevie Ray Vaughan and it just sounds like he's right there. And I mean, at $84,000, they're going to sound good, folks. Even if you don't like a certain brand, like some people didn't like Genesis. And I'm like, well, that Genesis, $115,000 tower set, it sounded pretty good. It didn't sound bad. Too great. So sorry, it's okay. I mean, everybody likes what they like, but I'm like, my fantasy though is to get one of those Momentums from Dan DiAgostino. That's like my pie in the sky dream amp. If I could get anything, I would get one of those Momentum amps from Dan DiAgostino, who we used to work for Krell in the 90s. He coincidentally created or designed the Krell amp that I own. So it's from just one of the absolute masters. Very cool. Very cool. Ace Spade says, do you use a record cleaner? I have a VPI here, and it's okay. It's not great. What I would like is... we gotta set this up so I can go live to the internet and bring you guys along. Let's do that. Let's see. We can go to here. No, here. Yes. Let's go live. We'll go live to the internet here. And where would I go? I think I can go to... Oh, boy. I'm telling you, typing with a cast, fellas, not a good time. I just keep hitting buttons that I shouldn't be hitting. Let's go to... Who would have this thing? Elusive Disc would have this. Elusive Disc is kind of like a vinyl clearinghouse. They have pretty much anything that's new. But let's see. Audio equipment, maybe? VPI tone arms. Nope. Cartridge audio. Oh, record cleaning machines. There it is. It's right at the top. So I would look at this one, the Audio Desk, if I had anything. Of course, it's $4,000, folks, and you can get a get a Focal, brand new Focal Utopia 2022 for that price. But I would look for like a used one of these. Because look, you save $700 if you buy it right now. Should we add it to the cart? No, let's just not do that. Let's close. I'm going to buy a new DAC. I don't care about this. I don't want to buy this record cleaner. But that's like the pie in the sky one. I think that there's a couple others, though. I have this VPI. It's the one that does the wash dry. Basic record cleaner, HW. It was expensive. It's not the Cyclone. I think it's this one. This is the one I have right here. But it's an older version of it. Yeah, this is it. Because it's got the... See the right there? It's got the forward, reverse, vacuum on and off cycle. So, yeah, that's the one that I own. And it's got these tubes that come in. Oh, mine has two tubes, though. It's got one, because it'll actually squirt the cleaner onto the record. It's got a pump in it. That sounds very dirty. But yeah, this Audio Desk is like the one. If you're going to have one, that's the one. Because it's that, it does the, what do I call it? When it's the ultrasonic cleaner. And then there's a couple others. This Kismas, this is another ultrasonic. I've never seen this one work, so it may suck. And then I'm trying to find the one that I've seen the most. It's the soda. It's a little rip-off. They all copy each other. Nope. I had one of those nitty-gritties when I first started out, and I was just trying to clean some records. They are the worst. Don't buy nitty-gritty. They're horrible. They're just so clunky to use. It's just not fun. But yeah, this is like the best of the best. Is this one right here for a record cleaner, and then I probably should take that out of my cart so I don't like go to buy a record real quick and oh, what did I just purchase? And there's one other one that's sort of like this one, and I can't remember the name of it. It doesn't really matter. But there you go. So these ultrasonic ones are the way to go because they really do, you know, at a high frequency, pull the bad stuff out of your records. I think. There you go. So yeah, so I have like a VPI right now, and I bought it used. It's a really old model. They, you know, for about the last 10 years or 15 years, they've been all black. What do I just call it? Laminated, veneered, and this one's wood. It's like wood veneered in white. It's not attractive at all in any way. It's an ugly cleaner, but it's mine. There are many cleaners, but this one is mine. So that's what I have. I would love to get one of those ultrasonics. So I think that's great. Do you use a record cleaner? Yes, we did that. My TT is a turntable is a Soda Sapphire. They have, you know, there's so many of these things. That's the thing is like they don't just VPI like. You can spend the Scout Junior, I think, is their entry level one, and it's basically got a half height plinth compared to what I have. I have a full inch thick plinth, and then the other one is halfway for the Junior, and then you can go up from there. Like they have elaborate dial-ins for how to set your tone arm up, and they've got you know where you don't have to mess with weights. And mine, it's like there's this big weight on the back, and you have to spin it to one side a little bit, and then you move it in and out to change the pressure on the needle. And it's really tricky to set up. Like you've got to be patient and slow, and you got to have a steady hand. And man, can you imagine me trying to set it up with the cast on? I'd be like, damn it, stop moving. But it works. I finally got it set up. So figured me for more of a Magnapan man. Love the Magnapans. They're massive though, and try having that with a wife. At least the Vandersteens look like a piece of furniture. She's not thrilled with them. She wants them out of there, but you know, I win small battles, folks. It's about winning the small battles. Thumbs up on record cleaners. He has Maggie's Arthur 1.7 as main 2-channel setup. Maggie's Arthur. The Arthur is the record player, right? Yeah. I'm not totally familiar with that Ace of Spades. I'm not totally familiar with it. I got to be honest. I don't follow all this stuff. It's like I find something that I think I would like, and then I go, and then I buy it, and then I use it until I get tired of it. Beyond record cleaners, Ken Workshop chiming back in. Cheers, Ken Workshop. Cheers, buddy. Cheers to all of us. Hey, we're here. 4:13. Well, Pacific Coast time. Probably not that where you're at, but whatever. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, kids. Keep drinking. Beyond record cleaners, he found switching to an advanced profile stylus helped a lot. In particular, the Shibata profile gets further into the grooves and has a lot less noise. I'm running a Lyra Delos. Oh, you're gonna make me look this up. Damn it. All right. I'm going to do it just because. Let's go back to Elusive Disc. And let's see, stylus. Do we have styluses? Turntable cartridges. Lyra. There we go. Lyra. This is the one I have. I have the Lyra Delos. Is it Lyra or Lyra? I don't know. Whatever. It's back ordered. You can't even get it. Don't even try. It's their entry level higher end stuff. They have a couple models below this, and then you can jump up to the Clios, and then you can jump up to the Etna, and then on the high end is the Atlas, which is their god one. And I ran before this. I had let's see. No, I had Clear Audio. And I just bought it because it was recommended by Stereophile. I had the earlier version of this one. At the time, it was like $1,500, and it was the V1 was like $1,500, and it's like ebony wood, cartridge. I still have it. I just don't use it anymore. I think the Lyra was a big step up for me. In cartridges, but Clear Audio, you can go as high as 18 grand. Hi. You better have one hell of a turntable if you're dropping 17 grand on the stylus. Good God. I mean, more stuff to waste your money on, kids. More stuff to waste your money on. I'm a VPI fan because they're made in America, and I know the owner. Matt, he and I are Facebook friends, and I love the company. It's a family-owned business, and they've had it for 1,000 years. And my buddy Lee, he's got a beautiful Prime Scout. It's like a $5,000 turntable with the tone arm and all that. They're beautiful. I mean, some of their stuff is just gorgeous. I love this stuff with the gimbals and the this and the that. Got a big photo for me, kids? Show me. Show everybody at home. Oh, for crying out loud. Really? That's what we get? Oh, so lame. Oh, quit. All right. Well, whatever. There you go. So lots of good options out there. Some really good turntables. You know, it's all good. It's just money. Money's only something you need if you don't die tomorrow. 8:15. Oh, Ronan. Goodness me, Ronan. That's some. I'm a tall cup of water for 8 o'clock in the morning. I don't go down easily. Ken Workshop Beyond. Oh, we talked about that. Really enjoying his Mest Mark IIs. I like the Mest Mark 1. I never heard the Mest Mark II. I just didn't buy it. I just didn't, it was like, it's $1,300 and I would just have to like go for it. And I just was like, I bought the other stuff instead. But the Mest is cool, and nobody sent me a pair. So I got to get more subscribers, which means, and the only way to get more subscribers is to put up more videos. And, editing is not fun with a cast on. Let me tell you, I keep hitting wrong buttons. Stuff jumps around. It's not a good time. Talking turntables today, man. We're talking about the vinyls. Lyra, and we talked about, I guess we're just talking sources today if you want to broaden that out, right? Because I was talking about the DACs and that kind of thing. I am anxious to hear what the DAC on this Macintosh sounds like, because it is, there's only one newer, like the 2700, they redid their DAC a little bit, I think. Maybe the same DAC, who knows? But it should be a pretty good DAC in there, because it's not that old. It's like within the last 5 years. So it's got probably got a pretty healthy chip in it. And then I just want to hear it, maybe for a different sound, because it probably sounds different than, it probably doesn't sound as detailed, but it probably sounds warmer. Macintosh always sounds, a little bit they lean to the warmer side. So, but I've thought about, I've ordered a cable for this. I'm going to try and run one from my Mac over to the Mac, from my Mac. The Macintosh. Macintosh is uniting. my Macintosh computer over to the Mac 2600, and then I'll use that deck for a while. I just want to try it. I want to hear some different things. Just curious. No, nothing, like I said, there's nothing wrong with what I have. I just, now and then you just want to do something different. And that's it. So, there you go. We talked about the styluses, and Lyra is micro ridgeline contact. More or less the same thing. Great cartridge. Oh, I bought it because of reviews. I just went up by like Stereophile and a couple other things and watched some YouTube stuff, and most said pretty good things about it. And then I'm like, well, I got no better ideas, so I'm just going to go with it. Let the chips fall. And it looked cool. Looks pretty cool. It's a pretty nice looking thing. I thought, I would need to upgrade the turntable to upgrade the cartridge. Like, I'm sure that I have over-spec'd my cartridge for the turntable it's married to. I think that's probably a pretty fair assessment. And then the Mac is just doing the preamp. The Macintosh here is doing the preamp. Because it's got a tube. It's a tube phono pre. There are tubes up in the top part of this. This is really a cool integrated amp because it glows green. There's like 8 tubes up there, and they're all doing different things. They're doing different tubey things. I'm sure they're fabulous. I think I opened up a discussion once with somebody, and we were talking about it. It was like, well, have you replaced the tubes yet? Because you have to replace the tubes. I'm not replacing the tubes on this thing. I don't want to open it up. It works, and it works well. I'm leaving it alone. I don't need to tube roll my Mac. I can tube roll the Woo. That's fine. I can do that. Tube roll in my Mac. It's fine. It's fine. Don't talk me into it. Too fun. I'm a Thorns guy. Yeah, my buddy, the one who got me into Vandersteen's. He was a Thorns guy. He just swore by Thorns turntables. He had a good one back in the 90s. Not to age myself too much. He owns 2 of them, but he would love to own a Technics SP10. And that was I had the old, I had like the DJ style Technics where you turn it on, it's got all the little metal dots, and then you can adjust the speed to fit. I have a speed calibrator here, and it's really interesting. The VPI stuff is all mechanically adjusted. Like, to balance the tone arm left to right so that it's sitting perfectly level, you slide a weight on this unipivot to get it to sit flat, and then you move it in and out to put on and take off more weight on the stylus, and then to speed up or slow down the turntable to get it to be at the perfect speed. You move the motor closer or further away from the platter. So kind of cool. Like, it's all mechanical like, but it does the job. I just think it's a really cool little turntable. And the price was right. And I was pretty psyched by it. I've had that turntable now for probably 10 years, and I bought it used. It's nothing even close to new. Ronan Morgan. Cheers, Ronan. I didn't cheers you before. Coming in from Taipei. Fabulous. What's tomorrow there? What's tomorrow like? Let's talk about futures. How about having a recommendation in each video for an album worth revisiting or checking out for listeners? I do that often, actually, Ronan. That's like kind of a hallmark. I don't do it on the live stream that much. but I do it frequently in my videos. I'll talk about records, and one of the things that's coming up in a future episode is I'm going to do an episode. It'll be a shorter episode, but I'm going to talk about some records to die for, like some records that I go to if I'm trying to hear some specific thing in my rig. So I have like some go-to albums, and I'm going to do a whole video of just music at some point. And I enjoy talking music. That's like something I enjoy. It doesn't rate terribly well for the show. Today doesn't rate very well. We're talking vinyl, and we're talking rigs, for, analog rigs, and the numbers are like hurting today. It's like we've got 14 people watching. Normally we're like up to like 30 or 50, but today is a lighter. I also didn't advertise this very well. I think I posted that we're going to go live at about 1:30 this afternoon, which is not, but I didn't know if I could or not because of the Smokey Robinson situation. Very cool though. It's been a good day for me. I'm like, somebody shows up or doesn't show up, I'm like, I still got to chat with Smokey Robinson today, and that's a good day. And gave me a big hug, and like, because I've known him for a long time, so really fun. But yeah, I always put music recommendations in my videos, and yeah, Asia is a great album. I mean, Steely Dan. I think it's probably. I think technically, the album that came after it, Gaucho, was a better recording, but Asia, for the instrumentation and the song value, is much better. It's a stronger album. So sometimes you have to, you make the trade-off for better music versus the recording quality, because Gaucho is actually a better recorded record. It's like their ultimate expression of Steely Dan in the studio, and they were a studio band. They were not a live band. They were definitely a studio band first. And fabulous they were at it. I mean, those records, this fusion jazz and crossover prog rock, just phenomenal. And I like all of them. I like Katie Lied. I liked Royal Scam and Countdown to Ecstasy, and all of those records were masterpieces. I mean, they're just brilliant. And few did it better than Steely Dan, and so unique too, because Donald Fagen's voice is not. That's an acquired taste. Like, I know people that will not listen to Dylan because they hate his voice. Donald Fagen is to me is kind of the same way. Like, you either dig what he's putting out there, or it's just weird and quirky and you're not into it. They weren't. Donald Fagen is not Freddie Mercury. It's not gonna. There's just not like the raw talent at singing, because he bends into his notes and kind of gets a little nasally on it, and kind of like my voice. But yeah, fantastic. I love Steely Dan. I've loved them from Can't Buy a Thrill on, but there are some fantastic records there, man. It's fantastic record. And Asia, I think, is like their best mesh of great music with great sound. If you're going for just sound, then yeah, it's going to be Gaucho for me. But for like listenable and interesting, and that was Deacon Blues, and God, so good. Black Cow, Peg. The B-side is a little more poppy. Just really good. Phenomenal record, and it's a must. It's a must-have. It's like Dark Side. You got to have a good copy of Dark Side if you're going to review anything, because you want to hear time, and you want to hear those clocks go off, and staging of that. But there are some, and there's a brand new, believe it or not, there's like a 90,000th version of Dark Side coming out, and there's a big debate about, like, do we really need another version of Dark Side? And my argument is, like, that 2017 was it 2015 was the 25th anniversary of Dark Side, and they released a new version of it, and it was awful. The song sounded great, but the points at which the music transitioned, I bought the vinyl of that one, and the points at which the music switched song, whoever did the mastering job just chunked it, because you can hear the edits when they were jumping songs on that 2017 vinyl. Horrible vinyl. my mobile fidelity version of that from the 80s sounds better, and that's like not the best recording ever, but best mastering. Got to go back for time. You got, the best one is the original if you can find it, but you'll never find it. My best copy is an original from the 80s that I bought in a record store, and it had a good mastering on it. It's pretty good. Very thin record though. It's like when record companies decided that we don't really need all this material in the record to make it sound good, In other words, they got cheap. So good. Ronan also, he's trying to run in a bursting conductor reference and a pair of Aria Stealth. So he's got plenty of time on his hands. Dire Straits albums also sound amazing. Yeah, they're good. Dire Straits, one of the first bands to go all digital in their signal path. Not the first, but they're one of the first. The first was Peter Gabriel. Peter Gabriel, the album with Shock the Monkey on it. That was the first pure digital DDD recording to delivery on CD. But Dire Straits, that Brothers in Arms album is one of the first. Is also one of the very early DDD releases, recorded in digital, mixed in digital, and delivered in digital. Very good though. Very, very good sounding stuff. And really, I've talked about this often. My favorite Dire Straits album was recorded in analog. It's Communique. And there's an outstanding Quality Records pressing of it from, Analog Productions. Fabulous version of that you can pick up. Just good stuff. Really good stuff. Communique is my personal favorite. I also love Love Over Gold and Making Movies. I liked all three of those records are among my favorites. I thought that Brothers in Arms, there's a couple of good tracks, and particularly the title track I think is exceptional on Brothers in Arms. But that was, if they had a sellout album, that would be Dire Straits' sellout album. I think they only did one other record after that, the one with Calling Elvis on it. But that to me was, they just pushed the pop too much, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's a good record. It's just like, it's very poppy. Like it's all singles, And MTV, you get your guitar on the MTV. That ain't working. So those are my three favorite. And then, the first record's great. It just, I think that it's got a couple of misses on that lead album, but it's got Salt and Swing on it. One of the greatest guitar solos of all time, maybe. It's not the best, but it's up there. Can't deny that. So like, it's the Dire Straits version of, what the hell's that great 70s song with I forget. Whatever. Really good. Ace of Spades is on a Doobie Brothers kick currently. Yeah, they had good stuff too. Taking It to the Streets, and Black Water is just, that recording is phenomenal. It's just from the symbols on down, the triangles on down. It's just amazing stuff. And then you get the fiddle. Fabulous. Doobie Brothers were exceptional. I'm more like I know that, the pre-Michael McDonald era, but I was more of the Michael McDonald era, so I lean into that a little more, and I know that makes me like, I don't know, Satan or something at some level. Because purists, it's not a Doobie Brothers record if it's got Michael McDonald on it, and I'm like, well, that's when I was coming of age. That's what I heard, So, so I love Taking It to the Streets. It's great, but he had the falsetto, so good. Arthur Haywood said his favorite band of all times is EW&F. What am I missing there? It's not ELP. EW&F. Anybody, fill me in. He's been to too many of their concerts. What am I trying to think of? EW&F. Somebody give me the comment on EW&F. What's the acronym I'm losing here? Because it sound, I mean, Arthur, I think it's current, and I'm like, that's where you probably lost me. Top-notch musicians and performers always sounded better than their albums. EWNF, Electric, Emerson, Wilhelm, and Falmer. Earth, Wind, and Fire. Good God, man. Are you crazy? You don't know Earth, Wind, and Fire? Of course I know Earth, Wind, and Fire. I have an Earth, Wind, and Fire story. They played our Emmy party once. So I got to see them like in person up close. Like they played it's a little party that we threw after the Emmy Awards, and we would do it because stars would come by and we would get photos with them and interviews and stuff on our own turf. And to draw people over, we would have a big act every year. And we had Earth, Wind, and Fire one year. And I was the band guy. I was always working with the band and getting them set up and getting them on stage and all that. We had the Goo Goo Dolls. We had Stevie Nicks one year. We had Billy Idol did our party. And the ultimate, though, and you guys are going to hate me for this, we had Prince. Prince played our ETME party one year. Wouldn't let us record it, though we did anyway. Don't tell Prince. But Prince played our ETME party, and that was spectacular. Unfortunately, I had to write for the show the next day because the real performance, he played our gig, and he actually shut down Sunset Boulevard, because we used to have it at the old Mondrian Hotel, is where the party was for us until we moved to downtown one year. But and then we did one year, we had it at the at Symphony Hall, the Geary designed thing. But that to me was that year was something else, because Sunset Boulevard shut down and everybody was trying to get into the party, and it became literally gridlock in front of the Mondrian because everybody heard Prince was playing. And then and I have some photos because I was shooting from high above, but he didn't like people in his face, and he just wanted to come out and he was going to play his own gig. He was going to do his own thing. But it was after the party ended. Across the street from the Mondrian is the House of Blues. It's gone now. But he took the whole concert, his whole band, everybody, and they went over to the House of Blues and they set up and they played until about 4 or 5 in the morning. And that set, I'm told from friends who were there, I wasn't, because I had to write in the morning, was insane. And the House of Blues guys are like, we have to close this place, but does anybody want to be the guy that goes to tell Prince to stop playing? Can you imagine that? That guy played until like 4 or 5 in the morning. And everybody was over there, and nobody wanted it to end. They just wanted him to keep playing and playing. And he was game. He was just on it. He was in the musical mode, and he just went and went and went and went. So yeah, that's my Prince story, and I have a few of them because the guy I work with was hooked up into that world. So he had parties at his house, and he would invite us over, and we got to see some stuff. But that was insane. That was really crazy. That was he lit up, and it's like the deck at the Mondrian is small. I mean, and there's a pool there too, taking up a big chunk of the floor space. So he had like this one little area where he had, it wasn't he didn't have a huge band with him, but he had, bass, guitars, keyboards, drums, and just played for hours and hours and hours there. And until literally the fire marshal made him stop playing. And that was when he packed up and went across the street, and I couldn't follow. I missed the Prince exclusive. Hey, fellas, 4:39 locally. We've been on the air for a little over an hour. Appreciate you guys stopping by today. I hope you're enjoying the stories. talking about stories and stuff we've done. We've talked a lot about music today. Very, very musical episode. I like this. This is my kind of thing. Doesn't get a ton of views. People want to hear about headphones and expensive headphones, apparently, from me. That's when our numbers really get big. I don't care. I want to talk about what I want to talk about. And what you guys want to talk about. We got to get on this roll. It's so good. I should go back because I missed a couple of these, the comments. So, yes, Earth, Wind, and Fire, Arthur Haywood, yes, very good. Fantastic. Great musicians. Great. Their horn section is insane. Absolutely great. Great stuff. And, okay. Mike Hughes CQ, that's a new name. You know what we do for new people here. We cheers to you, buddy. Cheers, Mike. Welcome to the Director's Garage Madness live, coming at you live from Los Angeles, California. In my basement. It's like Wayne's World. It's not even my basement. Okay. It's not the garage either. There's a whole story behind that. It was originally going to be shot in a garage, and then I didn't do it. Set it up somewhere else. Thanks to COVID. So I thought the first digital album was Bop Till You Drop by Ry Cooder. Well, I did a lot of research on it when I did some digital stuff, and the first all digital beginning to end was, to my knowledge, Peter Gabriel. Look it up. We'll see if maybe there's some conflicting reports. But I did a lot of research back in the day when I was doing my digital episode, one of my 130 episodes for this series that was not live. Matthew Hildsey says he listened to Marilyn Manson cover the Eurythmics' Sweet Dreams as a Rune recommendation. Yep, you know, I gotta say, I like Rune and I like Tidal, and I know that Tidal takes a lot of beatings at the press. Like Tidal, they MQA, it's the bad thing, right? Because it's degrading the sound down to like 192 bits. Whatever. Oh, God. Don't get me started. MQA is not Satan. It doesn't do what they say it did, but that doesn't make it bad. It just means it doesn't do what they say it did. It sounds really good. And so Tidal with Rune is a really sweet setup because you have access to that massive collection and you can just skim through Tidal's, amazing. And the other thing I love about Tidal and Rune is that they give you such a deep well of information about the band that you're listening to, the performers, the individual, musicians that are on each track. You can go and look at those through lines and threads and click on them, and they'll bring you other instantly. In one click, they'll bring you like, oh, you like the bassist, you like the bass sound on that. Well, that was James Jameson, and here is 100 other recordings that James Jameson also played on. I'm like, oh, I didn't know he played bass on this, and oh, he did My Girl, and he did, it's amazing. Crazy stuff. And everybody's correcting me. In fact, people just tuned out when I didn't know what EW and F was. Sorry, guys. The mouse doesn't always... And I'm damaged, guys. I'm damaged. I'm severely damaged. What R2R are you running? I am running... Arthur, there's a whole episode on my reel-to-reel deck. And it's a Technics, but it's a Technics that a guy took and refurbished. I bought the deck, and I did a lot of it myself. If you look at pre-Director's Garage videos on my channel, I did 2 episodes of me tweaking the deck and showing how to do some timing things on the deck. This is before I even thought about doing an internet show. I just would put some random videos out there. But there are a couple of videos out there of me tweaking the deck into spec. Based on the manuals and the proper settings, voltage settings on the deck. So you have to see me take the deck apart and really work it to get it sort of rehab the deck and get it working. But there came a point at which I took it as far as I could, and I really needed somebody professional to do a whole run. Pardon me, burping. I really wanted somebody to go through the deck and do an act who really knew what they were doing and do a number of that. So there was this company called Chord out of Washington, the state Washington, and I sent my deck up there, and they completely gutted it and installed new brakes, installed all this stuff that was good. They actually said my deck was in pretty good shape, and they said that my adjustments were good, but the caps were starting to, and all those little things. So they did a whole number on the boards, and they installed new heads on it, and then they gave it a makeover. They put, and because I have Macintosh stuff here, they did this Macintosh theme on it. So they replaced the meters with blue meters, and they put this green, really cool green Technics, and then they put gold and silver knobs on it and gold plate stuff, and then they replaced the rollers on it. It's just amazing what they did to it. And it cost an absolute fortune to do. And if I had to do it again, I probably wouldn't. I would actually buy an old Studer now that I'm like more into the hobby and into the R2R stuff or reel-to-reel stuff. You got to be careful because R2R is a type of DAC, and the DAC-phobic people or DAC-sensitive people will chew you out if you're talking about R2R and you're like, oh, wait, that's the DAC. Like, no, I'm talking about reel-to-reel. Sorry, guys. Different thing. Revox is made as, that's the company, the parent company is Studer, which makes the Pro decks. So I've always wanted a Pro deck here, and I'm still keeping my fingers crossed that someday I will get one. I think I will. I think someday I will get one in here. I would like a Studer. I would actually love an Ampex because that's the deck that I used as a budding professional. When I first turned pro and came out of college and got my first job working at TV stations, every single bay had an Ampex 102 in it. Every single one, because we did all of our tracks were recorded on reel-to-reel and then played back on the fly because we didn't have, it was days of tape editing. Believe it or not, we had these things, and they were called tapes, kids. So our linear bays were all linear video bays, video editing bays were all tape based, and most of the stations eventually just chunked the decks. They threw them out. They threw them out in the 90s because we don't need them anymore. We can record digital. What do we need this antiquated format for? Yeah, I know, there is some nostalgia for these things and whatever. Just chuck it out in the trash. No, we don't want to go through the hassle of selling them. That's what the companies did. They threw them out. And now a beat up Ampex 102 deck. I mean beat up. Maybe not even working. 10 grand. Not kidding. Not kidding. Just dying. Because I could have, if I was around and in the right place at the right time, I could have just walked with one. Free. Because we're just going to throw it out. We don't need it anymore. Killing me. So yeah, I love reel-to-reel. I love the format. I love the process of it, and I love the sound of it. The sound is just, there's nothing like it. It is as close to being in the studio as you can get because it's one off the master if you buy the recordings, And I'm hoping that Analog Productions can talk more of these companies into lending them masters. They lend them masters to do, vinyl runs. Well, why can't they just make a copy of the master while they're there and sell that? Sell the copy of the master. I mean, they're going to make some money off of it because these reel-to-reels sell. The cheapest ones from Analog Productions are $450, up to $550, and if it's a double, look out, back up. It's over $1,000. So, And people pay it. Idiots like me pay that because there's an album that they want, you know, and that's the best version of that album. What are you going to do? You're going to pay the money. Open up the wallet. The best places to buy reel-to-reel source tapes. There's a couple. The very best is Analog Productions, which is their sales arm is acousticsounds.com. Acousticsounds.com has a very good collection of pre-recorded material. If you have some patience, you can go to a place called the tapeproject.org. I think that's it. I'm going to look it up real quick. The tapeproject.org. Oops, not ORF. I hate this cast. It's just tapeproject.com. It's a com. Tapeproject.com. You can they have new releases, they have latest offerings, and they have a catalog. Not a deep catalog. They don't have tons of titles, but they'll do a run of them, and that's where I got my Staple Singers Respect Yourself album. And I've got myself on the list for a couple more over here, but they're not cheap. They're over $4.50 each. And then I think they might even sell some machines over there, if I'm not mistaken. But I want the CCR. That's the other one I want. I want the CCR Willie and the Poor Boys. Down on the Corner, Fortunate Son. What a great album that was. And I have some jazz stuff from them too. And I think I want the Waltz for Debbie. That's one of the ones. I have the Thelonious Monk. That's what I bought. And I'm looking down because I'm looking at this. I probably should share this with you because I do have a vehicle for doing that. All right, I'll show you. Let's go back to over here. Got to bring the mic along. Hope the mic doesn't fall off like it has before. So, first place is Analog Productions, which is Acoustic Sounds. And you go over here and you see tapes and all reel-to-reels, and this is their collection. This is the latest like crazy thing that everybody's talking about. $1,600 for a one off the master of Jazz at the Pawn Shop. Not even released yet, but that's the one that everybody is eyeing. That's the one everybody wants to see. I have a Love Supreme. This is John Coltrane Love Supreme, $500. And one of the ones that's on my short list is this Muddy Waters Folk Singers, because Muddy Waters, as you know, is that's one of my favorite guys. And I would love to get this Norah Jones. I think that would be good too. But I also own. They don't have a ton of them. You know, these are very limited, very hard to get. But if you're willing to pay for it, fine. They'll let you buy them. I have this Ben Webster, Gentle Ben, Ultra Tape. And that came recommended to me, and I was a big fan of that album. So I went that way because I wanted something in the jazz lane. And this is before Love Supreme was released. So anyway, the big one now that everybody's talking about, they're all waiting for this Jazz at the Pawn Shop to get released. And then the other one was Tape Project, tapeproject.com. And it looks like this. And this is how they present their reels to you. And like I said, I think you can get some machines from them. But their catalog is not deep. There's about 10 titles. Yeah, there are 10 titles in the Roots section. You can get Linda Ronstadt, which would be a pretty good one. I don't know about this band album because I never heard the record, Stage Fright. I've never heard it, so I need to look it up on Rune or Tidal and go with that. But the Creedence Clearwater one is something that I think would be pretty cool to have. I have this album as a mobile fidelity, so it's not something that's less of interest to me. Jazz-wise, Bill Evans, this would be a great one to get. This Waltz for Debbie. But there's a couple of different reel-to-reel versions of this you can get. Lee Morgan Sidewinder. This is fabulous. I have this on Blue Note, in a Blue Note release. It's fantastic. Sonny Rollins, this Colossus record, is another Blue Note. That'd be pretty good to have on tape if you can get it off the master. Pretty good. Wes Montgomery, one of my favorites. Yeah, really. Okay. So there you go. That's that. And then they have some classical offerings too, which I'm just not, I don't know enough about classical to, like I wouldn't buy it because I'm not an aficionado. And then there's direct from digital. They have one release there, but those are the two main sources in the States. There are several overseas you can get, and I've bought some other stuff. See, Holly's ready to come back in. This is what happens when Mrs. Director's gone. I just keep going. Oh, well, let me, I'm going to let you look at that for 2 seconds while I let Holly in. Come on, buddy. He's like, it's freaking cold out there, dude. Yeah, it is. It's cold. Hey, how y'all doing? We're about 90 minutes into this thing. I usually don't go too much longer, but if y'all want to keep going, because I've got, Mrs. Director's gone. We're running the house, fellas. We're running the house. So great. So those are the two sites that I frequent. Like, if I'm going to find out, and Analog is the only one in the States. There's an Italian website, and they came out with Kind of Blue. I'm going to try and find it. Yeah, it's... Yeah, Discogs. No. Oh, here it is. It's Hemio... I'm gonna just butcher this name. Hemio... Leah, Hemiolia, Hemiolia, Hemiolia Records, and they are located in Italy. And you can buy a 1/4-inch, 15-inch per second version of Kind of Blue for about $700. But they won't ship to the States. This kills me. I'll see if I can show this to you, because might as well see it. Okay, here it comes, boys. Here it comes. Yeah, I'll accept your stupid things. So, Blue Train, you can get that. I think some people have that, but shop. This is it. And there it is, Kind of Blue. You can buy this, but they won't. See this right here? They will not ship it to the U.S. Which... I gotta admit, guys, it's kind of got me bummed. Because I would buy that record. I love that record. Who doesn't love that record? It's like, it's one of the best records and best songs. Like, it put everything together so well. But I can't get it because I live in Los Angeles. So, if any of my European or foreign country viewers want to buy this record and sell it to me, buy this tape and sell it to me, and then ship it here, and I'll pay for the shipping and all that, hit me up, Director's Garage, gmail.com. Oh my God, it just kills me that I can't get that, but I'm hoping, what I'm hoping is that because they've opened up the master, it's a CBS Columbia recording, so hopefully that means that they are open to a company that will take great care of the master, and they have done kind of blue releases before, which would be Analog Productions or Acoustic Sounds, would let them do a one-off, because that would be something. That would be special. That would be amazing. So there you go. That's reel-to-reel talk. So yes, I do go reel-to-reel, and you know, I love the things, and I listen to them all the time, and when I can, not all the time, when I can, and that's great. So there you go, guys. Anything else we want to talk about today? We talked about reel-to-reels, where we get them. Ace of Spades found a few sites that are mostly classical. Yeah, there are a few out there. I mean, those are, but you know, to get mainstream stuff or mainstream jazz or, you know, whatever stuff that like I would play myself in my off time, because I don't want to buy, you know, it's great to hear classical and everything, but it's not something that I listen to but once a year or twice a year or something. You know, I'll delve into, I have a couple of classical, I have a great Scheherazade, Living Presence recording, you know, fantastic stuff. But it's not something that it's not a go-to for me. So there you go. All right, guys, I'm going to start wrapping this up because, you know, we got nothing else to talk about. I've talked about everything. I got to get the little outro music going. And I want to thank you for stopping by. Here we go. The Director's Garage today for our happy hour Humpday Hangout, the 4-H Club as we call it. New episode coming maybe end of the week, probably most likely early next week. I'm going to try to get it out this week. I would like to. I just don't know if I have the time to devote to it. Thanks for hanging with me and my injuries. I'm on the mend. Watch. If you really want to know about the accident, watch the next episode. That's all I'm going to say. That's my tease. I swear to God, it's really fun. And you know, listen to good music. I've got some good ideas for what to check out tonight on the old music machines here. And I appreciate you guys. And take care. I'll see you before you know it. How do I get out of here? Show me the way out.